Alright, hi, this is the final of the Elden Ring impressions, and it is going to be very, very short because I basically did everything last time. So, let's go. So I have a pet jellyfish now, and unfortunately I'd killed every boss at that point, so I took my pet jellyfish to the ocean, and I made it fight an octopus to see who was the true king of the sea. The octopus killed the jellyfish, but then the octopus died from the jellyfish's poison, so I'm calling that one a draw. Poison in general actually seems pretty powerful. I took my extending snake shield thing to fight some of those trolls, and they got poisoned after a few hits, and it did a fair amount of damage. And I know that the Law Hunter did quite a bit of damage to Agil with poison. I actually didn't know you could poison Agil. And that combined with the fact that, like, you can craft poison arrows just with stuff you find. Poison builds might actually be, like, pretty strong, at least in the PvE. The one boss on my kill list was the Golem. And the Golem is interesting. I'd actually totally missed it before. But it's found in this battlefield that's full of discarded golem sort of corpses. It's very, very Nausicaa-like, and I feel like Nausicaa might actually be one of the touchstones for this game. But that's something I want to talk about later on in a separate video. The golem went down pretty quickly. I found a lot of the bosses in this have not been terribly tough, and I don't know if, that is a network test balancing thing, or it's just because I didn't have anything else to do, so I'd gotten quite powerful. I don't know. But yeah, legitimately, that was it. That the golem and the jellyfish were the only two things I had left. So, I filled in the rest of my time by attempting to go out of bounds. I started by invading in the area that I'd seen Alison Baker successfully get behind the fog in, but that didn't work out, and after about 45 minutes of that, I thought, this is not a great way to spend my limited time here. So I went to the the artificial barrier thing they erect around the map, because I'd seen people successfully clip through that, so I basically wedged myself in between the rock and the intersection of the barrier, wiggled around a bit, and popped out the other side. So yeah, I wandered around out of bounds. It's a little harder than it initially looks because a lot of the ground is not really there. I think it's loading the low poly distance model, but not the collision, so you just randomly fall through bits of the ground. I did a little bit of exploring. I found half the Lord Vessel, and I found some places, but I know that Alison had already been there, so I just want to put in some more Alison footage here to show you some of the out of bounds stuff. I didn't find the bear. I know that there is a bear. So that is all. That is pretty much everything, I think, in the Elden Ring Network test. I started a new character to play around with sorceries. I also played around with some weapon arts. Just wandered around testing stuff, but I saw everything. I'm pretty confident in saying in that network test. I also, I made a point of screenshotting every single item description. I have some feelings about the world of Elden Ring, but I want to read them first. I want to say that, if you looked at Sin and I's early stuff on Elden Ring, there was a sense, I think, in the way I was talking, that I was a little bit worried that it would just be, open world Dark Souls, because that is what it looked like, but the more I've played it, the more it feels like a third-person Kingsfield. Just the vibe of the world, the way you move around it, the kind of enemies you encounter, it felt very, very Kingsfield. It also feels a lot like the mystical fantasy aspects, again like Demon Souls, might actually have their roots in something that's a bit more grounded and physical than just there were gods and wizards and things since the dawn of time. It actually does have the sense that Demon Souls had and that Bloodborne had of this is a place that the fantasy aspects are the result of things going wrong. It actually feels weirdly a lot like Shadow Tower in some ways. But yeah, basically I will do a longer form sort of like discussion of the world when I've finished reading all of the item text. Yeah, I'll see you then. But yeah, that was Elden Ring. It's looking pretty good.